Hello, everyone. Welcome in to the Premier Publisher Intro webinar. This is all about how to become a Premier Publisher. So if you are already a Premier Publisher, this is not the place for you. You can go ahead and log out. But as we are taking a minute to get settled here, go ahead and familiarize yourself with where the chat is or where Q&A are. I am solo tonight, so I will be checking both of those spots for any questions that you might have as we go through this presentation. This presentation is recorded, so if for any reason you need to leave, it is okay to do so. I will send you this replay tomorrow so that you have this as well to review as you are making updates to your stores. But make sure you can hear me. Just let me know in the chat that you can hear me, and we will get started here. I think we have a couple people that have joined already, so we will get started just here momentarily. Fabulous. Thank you, Crystal. Just making sure. You never know, right? Silly technology sometimes. So let's go ahead and jump right in. I won't waste a whole lot of your time tonight. But this can help you with some of the things that you are doing as you are updating your store to become a Premier Publisher. Again, like I said, this is being recorded and I will send this in an email tomorrow once this is fully recorded, and that way you have it. You can check all the things that you need. All right, so here is a good agenda that we are going through. We're going to talk about the Premier Publisher Program, talk about the benefits and opportunities that it provides for you. We're going to go through all the requirements to become a Premier Publisher. We're going to talk a bit about the application process, and then we're going to go through the next steps, of course, with the Q&A at the end. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to drop them either in the chat or the Q&A. I will find both of them and answer them all at the end for you. Or if I don't have an answer, I will have you send me an email, which I will provide my email at the end, and I will make sure to get an answer for you soon. All right, so what is this program? It is a selective program where we recognize those top-tier educational content creators that are on Boom Learning. We are focused on high-quality, evidence-based instruction and evidence-based materials that are meeting the school standards. Schools are really pushing right now for rigorous, academic, standard-aligned, accessible content, and that is exactly what Boom provides with this Premier Publishers program. And we'll learn about Passport in a second here. Passport is our school access. And we really do want to ensure that you are the highest of quality. Some of you were invited here by me, that I've seen your store and you have great content, and others of you are joining because you thought this would be cool to learn about. And that's totally fine wherever you stand. But I will go through your store and check it to make sure that you are aligned with what we are looking for. We are looking for clear instructional value with these decks that you are building, the materials, the resources, the printables that you are building. And we are looking for more secondary education and special education content. So if that is your niche, you are in the right place. We do need you. Schools are asking for you. So what you get out of this is increased visibility. There's this fun little filter in our Boom store as you search that you can filter on for only Premier Publishers. So this gives you all of those high quality content pieces that schools are looking for, that teachers are looking for, where you kind of lose all of the rest of the noise that come with the Boom search. You also get a passive income through the Boom Passport because you are earning based on the amount of usage and plays of your decks. So the more decks you have, the more plays you have. That is going to bring in more passive income for you, and you don't have to do any of the work, which is the best part of it, other than create, which many of you love to do, which is why you're here. And then, of course, we talked about that exposure to schools and districts that have bought our Passport program, and they get access to those decks based on their subscription tier that they have bought for their schools. So I've said Boom Passport. What is Boom Passport? It's that annual subscription that we provide to districts and schools. So schools will buy district licenses, and then that provides that curated library with that filter, so that teachers don't have to search for hours and hours. It's already vetted resources for them at their fingertips, easy for schools, convenient. And that's what schools are asking for. Schools are asking for subscription services that are giving the resources that their teachers truly need. And so that's where Boom Passport kind of comes in for schools to provide those things. All right, so more about Boom Passport. Boom handles all the sales, all the marketing, all the customer service on the Boom Passport side. So you don't have to do anything. You're not going school to school selling your resources or trying to get invoices. We are doing all of that for you. So schools will subscribe to that passport versus just getting general Boom cards and using points. They get access to this curated library just for them. I had talked about the royalties that you earn based on usage of your decks. So again, if you have great decks, they're gonna get played. You're gonna get paid, which is great. And then we are working towards having a revenue share from that district subscription, so that everybody gets a little piece of the pot, and that is coming in 2027. But again, we manage all of that on that side for you. You don't have to worry about any of it. Don't have to look into it. We got all of that. Again, schools are looking for those subscriptions versus individual purchases because it can get pretty pricey, as we all know, as we've bought resources for our own students or classrooms or clients that we are working with. Buying resource after resource after resource, it adds up. So buying a subscription for a year is just better for schools. Publishers are seeing consistent long-term earnings. And again, it's something you don't have to keep track of. It is constantly coming in, no marketing you have to do. That revenue will be coming in for you. Boom Passport, again, is that annual subscription. So they're paying one time a year, versus that reoccurring revenue keeps coming for you. And again, the content that districts are requesting from us for Boom Passport is specialty content for middle school and high school, grades 5 through 12 and pre-K and K. What we are looking for is differentiated, individualized content. So that's specialty content for special ed as well. We are looking for science. We are looking for social studies. So if your niche is in those categories, we truly do need you. We're looking for more transition-aged content for special education. So as you're building that or thinking about content, building that could truly help you if that is your background. And again, we are looking for standard alignment, which we are building as many groupings of standards into our program as much as we can. As we all know, there are tons of standards, so it's taking us time. But right now we do have Common Core and TEKS in there. So if you can align to standards, that's what schools are looking for. And we also are looking for accessible content. So we require that you have at least 3 years of active classroom or therapy experience. That is exactly what we're looking for, just 3 years. This is something that schools have put in place that we need to follow. So they've asked us to kind of verify that you've had at least 3 years. And that can be sharing with me your license or what year you graduated, just so we know that you have active experience. You must have a publisher account, an active one. If your account expires, your store will go away. So that will no longer be active. We also ask for a good author reputation, that there's no strikes on your account. If you have strikes on your account, you would have been told about it. Typically, that is a violation of our trademark or copyright, and you would have been told that there was a strike on your account, and that, so don't need to worry about that if you are concerned that that might be you. We ask that you have at least 50 published decks, minimum of 25 accessible decks, have 2 of those features tagged, And all of your decks must be tagged either opted in for accessibility or opted out of accessibility. So that means turning all those buttons off if you are opting out, or filling out all those accessibility things that are required and clicking scan for compliance and having those green checks come for you. If you do not have these things, you will not be getting an invite from me tomorrow. And that's okay. Now you have something to work towards, and I'm here in your corner. So you can reach out at any time and email me once I email you tomorrow and say, hey, you don't meet those requirements yet. That's okay. Email me when you're ready. So for those of you that are coming back into the game, or maybe you've gone away from creating for a while, we have asked in the last year for accessibility to be updated on your decks. And we realize how hard it is to go back to make those edits to your decks. We hosted 3 webinars last year to help you get started, but I am also available to meet with you one-on-one. If you want to go through your specific decks, I can walk you through all the steps that you would need to make your decks accessible. And again, my email will be at the end. You are welcome to email me, and I am happy to meet with you because, again, I'm here to cheer you on. I'm your cheerleader. I'm in your corner, so we will do this together. Okay, other things that we are looking for. We want a strong author bio. Again, schools are requesting this to ensure that you have the quality and credentials to be creating the content that you do. So we ask that you put your years of experience in there, any credentials that you have. So what did you graduate with, your degrees, any awards you've received, certifications, any extra license things that you've obtained. Please put that in there. Brag about yourself. Brag about all the things that you do. We also are looking at, not required, but we do look at if it says what age or grade your decks are for. If you are a 1st through 3rd grade teacher, okay, then I know that's typically probably what your decks are. But if you are a special education teacher, you might want to narrow down and say most of my decks are geared towards transition aid students. So that way we have an idea of the grouping of students that your decks are for. And then, of course, if there's specific subject areas that you create for, that is helpful too when teachers and schools are looking at your store to know, hey, is this helpful for our school or not? We also are looking for rich deck descriptions. You have a ton of characters to use, but we want them to be at least 50 words. So that it gives some detail about what your deck is. If you just say fun math game as your description, that's not helpful to know what skills are it teaching. Is there multiple skills within this deck? So we are asking you to go and edit some of those because I know lots of people over the years kind of lost that and forgot to do that, and that's okay. But we are asking you to add some more details to your descriptions. All decks must have image and font acknowledgements and on your bundles as well. So make sure that they are there. I am checking for that. So if you have a deck that you've done and you didn't put any acknowledgements of where you got your clip art or your images or your fonts, if you're using a specialized created font, we want to make sure that's in there to give proper credit. That also includes AI. If you are using any AI software, that must be listed in there. We also are asking for 50 published decks in your store. We talked about that. We are looking for design that is uniform and covers are not single images. If you did not take the time to create a cover and you've just uploaded a picture or a clip art as the cover, we are going to ask you to change those. We want to come to your store and know it is you. It is your brand. It is your style. It looks like you. I don't want your store looking like other people's, or I don't want your store looking of poor quality. So we do want to make sure that you are creating cohesive covers that are eye-catching for your brand. Your content is high quality. Again, I go through all of your decks to ensure that there are no errors, that it is educationally sound. I check for standard alignment, and I also check for accessibility. And I check that accessibility is done correctly. So I will let you know if you are not doing accessibility correctly as we go through this process. And again, we talked about all decks properly labeled with those accessibility features. Once you are accepted into the program, we do ask that you commit for 1 year. And I'm finding it's taking a couple months to get kind of settled within our Passport program. So some of the people that have gotten into the program have said the first couple months, they're not seeing as much of sales as they thought they would. And that's typical. I want to say that out loud because it does usually take a couple months for schools to know that your content is there. Just because they're searching, they go through the same people. Oh, wait, we found something of yours. We really like it. It just takes a minute to gain some traffic. It's not that you don't have good content. It just takes a minute to get there. So that's why we've asked that you stay in for a year to kind of help get some momentum with your store. Other things that we are looking for is that you are actively creating and publishing. If you have not published anything since 2022, we are going to kindly ask you, please keep creating. Show that you want to be here because we do want creators to benefit from this program. We are noticing the most active premier publishers are the ones that are getting higher payouts because they're getting more visibility. They're at the top of the search. They're finding their decks are coming up more often because they're posting more often. They're creating more often. So that is a benefit for you to help you out to make sure you're getting the traffic to your store as well. We are looking also for correct trademark and wordmark use. I will send with this replay tomorrow a article for you to read about all of our trademark and wordmark, and I also have some visuals in the next couple of slides to kind of go over some of those expectations that we have. No old logos are listed, so if you started creating in 2020 or 2018, you know there was an old logo and now we've kind of gotten away from that. We are asking if you have any of those that they are removed. We are also looking for no double tagging. So this comes with the caveat that if you are credentialed as a speech and language pathologist and a special ed teacher, you can tag both. That's okay. But if you are only credentialed in one of those areas, we are asking you to not double tag. So that means your decks, if you are creating, let's say a language deck as you are an SLP, we are asking you to not tag special education if you do not have that certification, because wires are getting crossed. When teachers are looking for content, they're finding SLP content, and that's not helpful for them sometimes. They are looking for more academic, more special ed teacher focus. So we're trying to not muddy the waters too much and try to keep those as separate as possible. And again, we want you to be creating content that you are credentialed for. You are following AI guidelines and you're not an AI only store. If I go to your store and I can say, you made all of these covers and every single product is made from AI, we are going to kindly ask you to fix that. This is something that we want you to be using your educational expertise in order to create. Yes, it's okay to use AI a little bit, but make it your own, make it unique. I don't want to go and see AI fully all over your store. And again, I will send out an article about our guidelines and what can and cannot be used on our platform. So I will send that out tomorrow as well. Checking your bio and product descriptions for no promotional links. You can't say, join my email list, check out my Facebook group, go to my website. You can't do any of that. However, the caveat for this is that you may add your email to your bio. For those of you that don't know, I am also a publisher. And so I add my email at the bottom of my bio that says, if you have any questions or requests, please email me. And that's totally fine. You can definitely do that. We are looking at your decks for no advertisements. So again, it doesn't say, thanks for following me here. Thanks for joining my email list with a link or a QR code. Also, a previous thing that people were doing was adding their acknowledgments at the end of the deck. So the last card on your deck would have all your clip artists that you used. We are going to ask you to remove those. That should not be student facing. That should go in your acknowledgement section in your deck details. We are looking for non-biased or discriminatory decks and any content that favors a specific religious belief. That is something that we're going to ask you to remove from the program. Does not mean delete it. There's just a fun button that you get to click and turn off, so that deck is not included if you do have religious content. All right, so let's go through some of the trademarking. As a publisher and a premier publisher, so this is for both, you are not allowed to use any of these logos. If any of these logos are in your covers, we are going to ask you to change that. Specifically, I'm going to call out these two on the side. You are allowed to use these in square shapes, not in a circle logo or in a rounded corner logo. And I call myself out on this every time because I was the one doing this. I had a circle logo on my covers and I had to update all my covers because I did not realize that I was not allowed to do that. So any of these, we ask that you are not using on covers, you are not using in public places, you are not using it in your email footers, any of that. There is a gadget you can put on your website and you are welcome to use that, but specifically you may not take any of these images and use them elsewhere. Okay. So here are some other great examples of things that we expect and things that you should not do. So tagging speech and special education, if you are not credentialed in both those areas, we've already asked about that, and I've already told you about that. So please make sure to check your decks if you are a special education teacher that you didn't accidentally tag speech, or if you're a speech teacher, you did not accidentally tag anything special education. We are not looking at any of these old logos. Those are not allowed anymore. So we're going to ask you to update those covers if you still have that logo on it, because that is against our terms of service right now, that all of those should have been removed. And you may not modify the logo in any way. So making your own brand that says Boom or Boom Cards, you may not do. I will ask you to remove those. So what you should do is on the right here, and that is use our B star logo. That's what we call this B here in a square. That is totally fine. You are welcome to use that. We do ask that it is not your full cover, that it is just in the corner by itself, nothing overlapping of it. But that's the logo you can use if you decide you would like to use a logo. Logos are not required. But if you would like to, that's how it should be. Your bio is updated with details. And a feature people don't know about is you can bold sections or words in your bio. So if you want your degree to stand out or years of experience, you can bold those. So that is fun to add a little flair to your bio as well. Descriptions. This is what descriptions should look like, where you have a short little paragraph. We call that a snippet, and maybe some bullet points or some smaller sections below it to add enough detail about what that deck is. And your acknowledgements, we do allow you to add links in your acknowledgements if that is with the clip artist's credit that they've asked you to do, or you can just list their names if that is not a requirement. So you can do that. And so that is also another place that external links can be posted. They are not live active hyperlinks, but they can copy and paste if they want to go check out who KA Fonts is or whoever is looking at your deck and wants to know more. Okay. So the next steps in this process is tomorrow you will get an invitation from us if you've met those basic requirements. If not, I will email you politely and say, hey, you don't meet those requirements yet, but that's okay. Please reach out when you do. There is no timeline or window in which you have to complete those updates to fill out the application. It's me, myself, and I here, so you're just going to continue to communicate with me at where you're at in the process. And if I don't hear from you for a while, I will reach out again and say, hey, it's been 6 months. Where are you at? But if you do meet those requirements, I will send you the application. You're going to take time to fill out the application. It is a bit lengthy, I will say. Um, but we want as much detail as possible. Brag about yourself. This is where we are asking if you have any special recognitions, if you've had any articles released about you or your teaching strategies. If you've been Teacher of the Year, this is a great place to show off who you are because we are looking for those higher quality creators. And so if you can show off a little bit, we do read through every single one of them. I will review your application. It might take several weeks for me to do, depending on all of these influx of people who come to these webinars. Sometimes there's a lot of applications that I need to go through. And if I'm looking at every single deck and every single aspect of your store, it does take me a while to do that. So please be patient with me. And then I will request that you make any improvements to your store that I've seen once I go through my process. And so again, that's via email. I'll say, hey, you haven't met the 25 decks for accessibility. Please make sure to update that and let me know when you're done. Or, hey, I see old logos on your covers. Please update those. Let me know when you're done. And so I will. I'll give you a list of things that need to be done, or any articles of how to do those things I will send over then. And then once we kind of go back and forth a little bit, you've done all the things. My team reviews it one more time. And then I give you the final approval. You sign your contract, and within a little bit, I think it's within that day, you get that Premier Publisher badge right on your store, and you are in the program smooth sailing once you accept the terms of service. So that is the process for the Premier Publisher program. All right, we've gotten to the end here. It's been about 30 minutes of me talking. Any questions about what I've gone through? And as you're typing, I will say that my email is here. If you have specific questions about your store or you want to meet with me, again, I am happy to do so. You just send me an email and say, hey, I want to find a time to go through my store. We can go through an audit. I can give you some suggestions on how to improve your store if you're looking to kind of level up a little bit. But my email is there. If you don't want to ask a question here and you want to leave, that's totally fine. Otherwise, I will wait a minute here until some questions come into the chat or the Q&A. Either place is fine, and I will go ahead and review those aloud. And if there's no questions, that is totally fine. All right. Thank you for the first question. You mentioned you cannot promote yourself on other websites or platforms in your deck. However, are we allowed to put on the last slide something like this is like this product, check out others in my store, in my Boom store? No, you cannot do any of that. That is not allowed. So if there is the last card of your deck says check out my store for more, we're going to ask you to remove that because those decks are student facing. So the students aren't the ones checking out the store, it's the teacher. But you can put that in your description. Go ahead and put that in a bottom of a description or in the bottom of a bundle description. That's a great place to do that, and check out your other ones in your Boom store. Thanks for asking that. And Lauren just asked, so just to confirm, we don't fill out an application unless invited to. So yeah, since you've registered for this webinar, I have your email. I will go through your Boom store, check and see if you have those minimum requirements, those 50 decks, 3 years of experience, that kind of thing. And if you have those, you will get an invite to fill out the application tomorrow from me. And if not, you'll still get another email from me that says, hey, you don't meet those minimum requirements right now. Let me know once you've hit those 50 decks. And that's as simple as pie. So you will get the application, just you might not be there yet, and that's okay. I hope that answered your question because I'm thinking about it and I think it did. But let me know if it didn't. Perfect. Okay. Any other questions? I appreciate everybody's time tonight as everybody is kind of typing still or thinking if they have any other questions. Of course, again, my email is there. You are welcome to email me. I get back to people fairly quickly. I don't like things in my inbox. So again, email me at any time. I usually get back to you within the day or within a couple hours of you sending me an email. So yes, of course. Thank you all for being here. Looks like there might not be any more questions, but I will give it one more minute. I do truly appreciate your time tonight and hanging with me as I went through all of those expectations. But yes, as you're thinking tonight or into tomorrow, if you do have any questions, please, please, please reach out. I am in your corner. I promise I'm not scary. I do want you to succeed. So no question is a silly question. And if you need me to kind of hold your hand through this process, I am happy to do that as well. But all right, I'm going to wrap it up here tonight. And I hope you all have a wonderful evening and the rest of your week. And I will talk to you all tomorrow.